Was the suspect African American?
Part of the identification process right now, with the next of kin not being notified, we're not trying to hide anything. It's sensitive when there's family involved that have not been yet notified. The only thing I can confirm right this second is that it was a male.
So you said there was an exchange of gunfire?
So again, I'll have to
What's the age?
Defer back to the investigative team, okay?
The incident began when a street encounter in Kansas City led to a shooting, leaving a suspect dead at the hands of the police. Sergeant Bill Lowe of the Missouri State Highway Patrol is facing tough questions from the media regarding the transparency of the investigation. Why is the most basic identification information being refused with such hesitation and avoidance? Is this a protocol to protect the next of kin, or an attempt to control the narrative before public outcry erupts? Join ID Refusal 101 as we analyze the line between investigative confidentiality and the public right to know. Our thanks go to the original channel Fake Mike Real News for this valuable footage, and please follow their channel for more updates.
Welcome to ID Refusal 101. We're here to arm you with legal knowledge to protect yourself. Subscribe now to know your rights and how to assert them. And now, enjoy the video.
I'm sorry? You can, but not right now. They're all going to be pretty busy.
They're going to see the body first?
What's that?
They're going to see the body first?
On the low man total.
That's why I figured. I just want to speak to the detective real quickly.
Let me tell them what you did.
I'm Mo. I just want to go see the body because I know that kid. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll tell them. Can I get your info and I'll tell them to come contact you whenever you're ready?
Sure, yeah.
What's your last name?
Muhammad, M-O-H-A-M-E-D.
What's your first name?
Same as first.
Okay.
Still exactly the same.
Okay, and what's your birthday?
0808, 1995.
95?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell them that you're sitting here waiting for them. But I don't know how long it's going to take.
It's going to take some hours probably, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'll figure it out.
We have our media captain coming out, so as soon as he comes, he's the one who can answer that. I can't.
No, you're fine.
They're just
You're
advising
fine.
me.
I've only had it for a couple weeks, so I'm like,
good.
what can I do with it?
Yeah, so as of right now, they're not letting because it could compromise.
Okay, that's
But when
fine.
Captain Jackson comes out with our media unit, that's a question for him. Okay, guys?
You're very nice. I flew it above the Capitol City building in Jackson County, Missouri, and I have a problem.
I wouldn't have a problem with it. It's not my service.
I get it. You're fine. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Go to Fake Mike Real News. Where's, you know the guy with the whisk? Oh, Will. He couldn't make it. He couldn't make it, but he's always with us.
I'm here as a public information officer to make some initial comments about our involvement, meaning Missouri State Highway Patrol has an investigative team with the Division of Drug and Crime Control. Those investigators are here right now at the request of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. This investigation is very active and will be ongoing for quite some time. At approximately 6:12 this evening, officers with the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department initially identified what was to believe a homicide suspect. Those officers identified themselves to make contact with that individual, at which time the individual presented a firearm. It is believed at this time it was a short-barreled rifle. Following those interactions, gunfire was exchanged. Kansas City, Missouri police officer, one police officer did fire his duty weapon. As a result, the individual, the suspect, was struck. No other officers fired their weapons. Life-saving measures were performed immediately. An ambulance responded to the scene. Ambulance transported the individual to Truman Medical Center, but has now been pronounced deceased. At this time, as I said, our investigators are collecting evidence, collecting statements from witnesses, and interviewing all officers that were involved. This investigation will remain ongoing for quite some time. As it relates to the suspect, the next of kin have not been notified as of yet.
At this scene, we witness a thin legal line between criminal investigation and freedom of the press. The videographer from Fake Mike Real News is exercising First Amendment rights by filming in public, even in the vicinity of a crime scene. Sergeant Bill Lowe opens the briefing by confirming an officer-involved shooting. Under the Fourth Amendment, any use of deadly force must be strictly scrutinized to prevent police misconduct. However, law enforcement has the authority to establish perimeters to preserve evidence, and the immediate ID refusal regarding the suspect's name is cited as a protocol for kin notification. Citizens must understand that while you have the right to film, crossing a taped-off crime scene can lead to obstruction charges. A lawful ID refusal scenario typically occurs when police lack reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. Here, Sergeant Bill Lowe's ID refusal regarding the deceased is an administrative procedure, not necessarily a civil rights violation. To protect your rights, always maintain a safe distance and exercise your right to record peacefully. ID refusal awareness is key to navigating these high-tension encounters effectively.
So I will not release the name of the suspect now. Once the next of kin has been notified, we will update you all, most likely posting it on Twitter. As it relates to the investigation, why the Kansas City Police Department was looking at this individual in particular as a homicide suspect, the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department will have to answer those questions, as that is a separate investigation. I'll take any questions at this time.
You can't tell us, the KCMO Police Department has to tell us if this is a suspect involved with the Holland homicide, double homicide last time.
Yes, to answer your question, I will defer to the Kansas City Police Department as it relates to their investigation. Okay, the Missouri Highway Patrol here is to investigate an officer-involved shooting. Okay?
Sergeant Bell, was that shot fired? Was that just one single shot?
That's going to be determined by our investigative team.
No officers were shot?
That's correct. No officers were shot. To the best of my knowledge, no. I know for a fact no one was injured.
Pronounced dead at the hospital or here?
I don't know that exactly, but I know the individual was transported by ambulance to Truman.
Sergeant Bill cannot confirm if this is related to double homicide.
Yeah, so that's part of our investigation as well. So to determine the exact make and model of the firearm, that will happen at some point during the investigation. To determine exactly how that interaction happened, that will be analyzed as well.
Sergeant Bill Lowe demonstrates a form of indirect ID refusal by repeatedly evading questions regarding the underlying homicide investigation. While Fake Mike Real News and other reporters press for links to a double murder, the officer deflects accountability to the Kansas City Police Department. This jurisdictional maneuvering is a common tactic in cases involving potential police misconduct, using bureaucracy to limit public oversight. Under the First Amendment, the right to petition and question the government is paramount, especially when Fourth Amendment protections against excessive force are at stake. The officer's uncertainty regarding the suspect's place of death or the exact shot count raises red flags about transparency. When encountering this type of institutional ID refusal regarding public records, persistence in investigative journalism is vital. While his refusal to comment on another agency's case is legally shielded, it undermines the principle of police accountability. To combat such evasion, always document the interaction and use Freedom of Information Act requests to break through the ID refusal wall of silence.
Was the suspect African American?
Part of the identification process right now, with the next of kin not being notified, We're not trying to hide anything. It's sensitive when there's family involved that have not been yet notified. The only thing I can confirm right this second is that it was a male.
So you said there was an exchange of gunfire?
So again, I'll have to
What's the age?
defer back to the investigative team, okay?
Sergeant Bill Lowe's hesitation reaches a tipping point when faced with direct questions about the suspect's race, resulting in a defensive display of ID refusal. Under the First Amendment, reporters and the team from Fake Mike Real News are within their rights to demand basic identification details, as this is a matter of profound public interest following a fatal shooting. Sergeant Bill Lowe attempts to gatekeep the narrative by citing sensitivity toward the family, yet his stuttering response suggests either lack of preparation or a deliberate delay of information. According to Fourth Amendment standards, when law enforcement employs deadly force, every detail regarding the subject must be transparent to rule out bias or police misconduct. Refusing to identify physical characteristics is a form of public information ID refusal, often used to dampen community reaction before a full media strategy is set. Citizens must remember that during a traffic stop or at a crime scene, while you have the right to film, police may legally withhold unreleased investigative data. However, the persistence of Fake Mike Real News in challenging this ID refusal is vital to ensure that those who enforce the law remain accountable to the law.
Once again, the suspect, you have to understand it's sensitive when next of kin has not been notified. I can, once next of kin has been notified, tell you the age, tell you the last known home address, not home address, but home city and state, first, middle initial, and last name, okay? So just bear with us. We don't suspect that's going to be drawn out for a length of time. I would suspect if you monitor our Twitter account through the evening, that information will be released as soon as next of kin can be notified. There have been on rare occasions next of kin being from different locations throughout the state or throughout the country or even a different country where it takes a little bit more time, okay?
Can you share whether this was like a traffic stop scenario, a residence visit, or...
We'll say it was an encounter on the street, okay?
Were the officers wearing body cameras?
So that's going to have to be a question for the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department on their policies and procedures and their equipment, etc. Okay, at this time, it doesn't appear to have any more questions, and I really don't have any other information. Once we get that information, please monitor our Twitter account. That's MSHP Trooper A Twitter account. We'll do as much information on that as we possibly can.
In the final phase of the briefing, Sergeant Bill Lowe continues his ID refusal strategy by diverting all requests for specific details to social media updates. When reporters and the team from Fake Mike Real News press to clarify if the incident stemmed from a traffic stop or a residential visit, the officer offers only a vague description of a street encounter. This tactic is designed to minimize immediate legal accountability at the scene. Under the First Amendment, the public has the right to demand transparency, yet Sergeant Bill Lowe utilizes investigative loopholes to maintain an ID refusal stance on critical facts. From a Fourth Amendment perspective, the justification for deadly force hinges entirely on the initial encounter's legality, which the police are currently obscuring. This represents more than a communication gap. It is a red flag for potential police misconduct through institutional gatekeeping. To counter such systematic ID refusal, citizens must document every contradictory statement and pursue accountability through transparency laws. Do not merely accept passive updates. Stay vigilant and continue to challenge the narrative when faced with official ID refusal. Concluding this encounter, we see a complex picture of accountability. I grade Sergeant Bill Lowe's performance at a C, While he maintained professional composure, he utilized procedural loopholes to execute a systematic ID refusal of information, hindering public oversight. Conversely, the videographer from Fake Mike Real News earns an A for steadfastly exercising First Amendment rights and directly challenging Evasion to seek the truth. This video centers on the intersection of Fourth Amendment protections against excessive force and freedom of the press. When faced with a law enforcement ID refusal situation, remember that knowledge is your only weapon. Never argue with emotion. Instead, use badge numbers and public record statutes to demand transparency. Continue following ID Refusal 101 to master your constitutional rights and stay informed. Please support the original channel Fake Mike Real News, where these authentic footages are captured to safeguard justice for the community. According to the law, standing your ground against an unjustified ID refusal is not just a right, it is a civic duty.
Knowing your rights isn't being difficult, it's being prepared. If this video helped you understand your legal rights, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment below, tell us your story, ask a question, or suggest the next encounter we should break down. This is ID Refusal 101, where we teach the basics of your right. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.